Alright gang, welcome back to another video. The markets were closed today, as you probably know, but we're going to look forward a bit. We're going to look into tomorrow. Friday's my favorite day of the week when selling options because we're getting close to expiration for a lot of the options I own, and that's when we kind of know right off the bat if they're going to be exercised, if I should quickly roll them, or if I should just let them go and expire worthless. But before we get started, with all of that fun stuff, if you like this kind of content, please consider subscribing. That way you don't miss any videos in the future. I've been documenting my own journey, trying to sell some options for some extra income, and keep it completely transparent, the good, bad, the ugly with you guys. If at any point during this you're like, I'm new to options, I want to know how to get started on my own and selling my own options, I do have a course. It helps out the channel. It's linked down below. You can go check it out. It tells you everything you need to know to get started selling your own options and making money like I do every single week, almost every single day. It's pretty much my favorite thing to do right now. And as I mentioned at the start of this video, Friday is typically my favorite day because we get to free up some collateral, usually, or at least some of it, to start selling options into the next week. So I have a bunch of options here that are going to expire tomorrow. Some of these are in the money, like this Robinhood $76 covered call. Some of these are out of the money, like this $55 put on HIMS. And if this continues to stay out of the money, pretty far out of the money come tomorrow, what I'll likely do is I'll just buy to close this and look at opening a new position tomorrow. So for instance, if things were to stay steady, I'm not sure how the market's going to perform tomorrow. Obviously, I don't have a crystal ball, but if we go to roll this position and I look at buying to close this current one and open a new one next week, right off the bat, here's a pretty good example. This $56 put, I'll make $117 in premium. I also have to buy to close this current one at $15, so the net credit that's going to hit my account is $102 from this one trade. And this has a pretty low delta. This is a delta that I'm okay selling an option on. I'm usually good between a 0.2 and a 0.3. In other words, it has a 80 to 70% chance that it's going to expire completely worthless. The more accurate number is 77.6% chance of expiring completely worthless. However, that like 22.4 or 39% chance could still happen. These could tank for one reason or another. We have probably a lot of reasons right now that something could tank. And this is a volatile stock, so it's not impossible. You know, I've sold a lot of options at this pretty low delta, and I've seen a decent amount become in the money just because I typically sell options on what are considered some more volatile stocks. In a second, we'll talk about maybe a not so volatile stock, but before we do that, I want to reflect on Wednesday. I didn't make a video Wednesday, but I have my web app that helps me keep track of how much money I make selling options, because manually keeping track of all this is super, super difficult. And if I load yesterday's statement from Robinhood, we can see I made 11 total trades. I made $301 in premium, and here it is broken down by ticker symbol. So we see I bought to close a HIMS option, it looks like, because it has a negative amount. So I had to pay, which is a negative coming out of my account, but the rest of these are positives. So they are options that I sold and took some credit from selling these. So in one day, pretty crazy to say this because this could be a full-time job if this was consistent, $301 I made from selling options in one day. And that went straight to my account. I can do whatever I want with it. I can buy extra stock shares if I want. I can buy a Chipotle burrito, which I sometimes do from time to time because it's really good. I could give it away if I wanted to, if I could help people out. So that's what's awesome about selling options, is you can do it strategically and make a decent income doing so. But I was just chatting with ChatGPT here to see what are some good ticker symbols to sell options on, because I'm always looking at new companies and new stocks to take a look at and add to my list of ones that I check. And out of all the ones here, one that actually caught my eye was Walmart. So I wanted to take a look at it because it is a pretty steady stock. I mentioned how HIMS and some of the other stocks that I sell options are considered more volatile, but I think Walmart is one of those companies that's probably not as volatile, so we're not going to see as much premium. But on the flip side, we shouldn't see as much price fluctuation. So if we go to trade Walmart options, and I just sell a put that is going to expire next week. This $93 put has a 78% chance of expiring worthless, and I can make $54 in 1 week selling this one option. Of course, there is a caveat. I have to have the collateral set aside to do this, so I can use margin as the collateral, which is what I personally typically do. You only want to do this if you're assigned these shares. Hopefully you have that amount of money in a different account that you can transfer over, so you're not paying interest on that margin. Or you can use straight up cash that you have in your brokerage account, and then you don't have to worry about margin. So you would need $9,300 to make $54 in 1 week. But that $54 is guaranteed, right? I get it instantly and instantly hits my account. What's not guaranteed is if I have to purchase the shares or not. That's the risk you take if Walmart were to tank, and any stock if you sell options on it. But in the future, if I ever wanted to pivot and add a stock to my regular options trading that is a little more stable, then maybe Walmart is one that I'll consider in the future. I thought it was a pretty decent idea coming from ChatGPT. Let me know what you think about Walmart, or if you ever traded options on it before. And hopefully tomorrow treats you pretty well and treats me well, I guess, as well. And I hope to see you in a future video.